Hello, welcome to a new tutorial presented by the SHRDB. In this tutorial, we are going to see the nervous supply. Now, with the nervous supply, we need to know that there exists different divisions of the brachial plexus. All the nerve supply to the upper limb comes mostly from the brachial plexus, and some are coming directly from the different spinal nerves C1 to C5 to T1. So the first point to note is, where does the brachial plexus originate? But before we know where the brachial plexus originate, we need to know the division of the brachial plexus. In mnemonics, the mnemonics used for the division of brachial plexus, the brachial plexus is read that dirt cadaver book. R corresponds to the roots, T corresponds to the trunk, D corresponds to read that dirt, D corresponds to the division, cadaver, C corresponds to the cord, and the cadaver book, and B corresponds to the branches. Now, the roots are the different origins of the spinal nerve from which they originate. Now, you need to know that the brachial plexus originate from C5 to T1. So we have the C5. So if you see very well on the brachial plexus, you see that it's going to originate from C5 to C1. Here are the meninges. The meninges are going to stop at this level. So you're going to originate. They're going to come from the intervertebral foraminals, and then they are going to originate from C5. This one particular one here is C5. So anterior root of the fifth cervical nerve, and this last one here is T1. So we have from C5 to T1. So the first thoracic. So these are from C5 to C1. You have the roots. After the roots, you are going to have the trunk. So these are the trunk, the different trunk which are involved. You have the superior trunk here. So superior trunk here, which is coming from C5 and C6. You have the middle trunk here coming from C7, and you have this other one coming from C. We have the middle trunk, and we have the inferior trunk coming from C8 and T1. So all of them are going to bind to give the next one, which is dirt, the divisions. So you are going to have the division here. This is the anterior division. You are going to have different divisions. The different trunk are going to divide into anterior and posterior. You are going to have anterior divisions. This is the anterior division of the inferior trunk. This is the anterior division of the middle trunk. This one is the anterior division of the superior trunk. All of them are going to form anterior and posterior divisions. Now we see that the anterior and posterior division are going to give now the different nerves are going to be anterior and posterior in the upper limb. So now after the division, we have this portion here. So let's come closer. We have the medial cord. So after the division, we have C, read that dirt cadaver book. The C now corresponds to the cord. So we have the medial cord. Now we have the next portion here, the lateral cord, and here we have the other cord here, the posterior cord. So these are the three cords which are formed after the anterior and posterior division. We have the medial cord, the lateral cord, and the posterior cord. So now all the cords now are going to give to the branches, are going to form the branches. Now this particular branch here is going to be called the musculocutaneous nerve, and the musculocutaneous nerve supply the muscles which are found in the anterior compartment of the arm. This other branch is going to be called the axillary nerve. Axillary nerve supply the teres minor and the deltoid muscle. Now this particular nerve here is going to be called the medial nerve, and the medial nerve, you've seen that they supply most of the muscle of anterior compartment of the forearm with the hypotenuse muscles. So with the tenor muscles of the hand instead. Now this particular branch is going to be called the radial nerve, and the radial nerve initially said is going to supply all the muscles on the posterior part of the arm and the forearm with the hand. So the radial nerve supply all the muscles of the posterior aspect, posterior compartment of the arm, posterior compartment of the forearm, posterior compartment of the hand. So this is the radial muscle, and the last one will be the ulnar muscle, the ulnar nerve. The ulnar nerve, we said that it can supply some of the muscles in the forearm. So anterior compartment of the forearm, and that muscle is it's called the flexor carpi ulnaris. That muscle of the forearm is called the flexor carpi ulnaris, and supply most of the muscles of the hand. Now the sensory of the ulnar is lateral, at the lateral of the two fingers, and the palmar aspect of the hand, and it's also going to be, so we're going to visualize the lateral aspect. So when going down, we have this ulnar nerve here. So this ulnar nerve goes down, it goes down here, it goes down here, and supply the lateral aspect of the two fingers here for sensory and most of the muscles in this compartment. Now we have this next nerve here, which is called the medial nerve. The medial nerve is going to supply most of the muscles of the compartment. You see that the ulnar nerve goes outward, so it does not supply most of the muscles except the median, flexor carpi ulnaris. So most of the medial nerve is going to supply the anterior compartment and going to give sensory to the lateral three fingers. So these two fingers are going, the median two fingers are going to sensory to be, sensory sensation is going to be due to the ulnar nerve, and the lateral three fingers instead are going to be due to sensory sensation from the medial nerve. So somebody who has carpal tunnel syndrome, so he's going to have not going to feel the he's not going to feel sensation at the level of the lateral three fingers, or he's going to have a paresthesia or changing sensation at the level of the lateral three fingers. So now the medial two fingers takes the half, so ulnar takes from the two fingers and half, so the medial nerve takes the other half of this foot digit. So now this is what can be seen as from ulnar. Now this other nerve here, particular nerve here, is the musculocutaneous nerve. So this nerve here is a musculocutaneous, and it's going to supply all the nerves inside the arm. Now this other nerves here, which goes posterior as such here, we are going to have the radial nerve. So the radial nerve, you need to know that the radial nerve passes posteriorly and passes in the radial groove here. So there's a particular groove at this portion called the radial groove through which the radial nerve passes. So if you have a fracture of the bone, the nerve which can easily, of the humerus, the nerve can easily be leased, which can be ligated, is easily the radial nerve, because it's directly connected to the bone here in the radial groove. The other nerve, you see that they are not connected directly, but they are mingling in air. They are mingling in the tissues of the body. So the one which is directly connected is the radial nerve, and it's the one which is going to mostly be affected when you have this problem, which is the lesion, when you have the fracture of the humerus. So now, upon increasing the nervous system, you see that there are different branches which can be seen again, but they are not of real clinical importance. So these are all what we can see. The radial nerve now comes posteriorly and it's going to give all this. So now you need to know that this one here, this nerve is superficial branch of the radial nerve, so it's going to give to all the, it's going to be sensory. You need to know that the radial nerve is sensory to the posterior three fingers, and the ulnar nerve is sensory to all the fingers. You see that the ulnar nerve is sensory to all the two fingers which are median. So ulnar nerve come as such, going to be sensory to all the two fingers which are medial on the palmar aspect, and it's also going to be sensory on this finger on the dorsal aspect. But the radial nerve is going to be sensory only on the lateral three parts on the dorsal aspect, and now the medial nerve is going to be sensory on the palmar aspect of the lateral three fingers. So this is what has to be noted. Now if we increase again the nervous supply, we see that the radial nerve consists, so when we descend again with the radial nerve, so this is the branch of digital nerve, medial nerve. So the medial nerve, if you see very well, the medial nerve is going to take the whole finger, and also going to take part of the nails. So it's going to also take part of the nails to the posterior aspect. The medial nerve takes the whole finger, also take part of the nails. But now here you see that the radial nerve does not take the, as from the second digit, as from the intermediate phalanges, the radial nerve stop at that point, and it's also going to stop on the lateral aspect here. We're also going to stop on the lateral aspect of the fourth digit. So we have this 4th digit is going to end on the lateral aspect here. So we have this where the radial nerve ends, and the medial nerve is going to have this position here till this point. So it's going to have till the intermediate digit. So you have till the intermediate. So you have all this. So from here we've seen all the different section of the nerve involved with the upper limb. So from here we say thanks for your kind attention, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for the Science Video Makers channel. Thank you.